Attend now another chronicle of hubris and haste, a saga etched in silicon and sand where stars were reached too quickly and a legend fell into the earth itself. In the year 1982, there came forth a game, Atari ET, or ET Extra-Terrestrial, born of a film bearing the same name, released beneath the same turning of the sun. Its quest was simple and celestial: to guide the small wanderer ET across shifting screens and hostile ground, gathering 3 shards of an interplanetary phone to call across the void to home. The task of creation fell to a proven hand, Howard Scott Warshaw, a smith of code who had already forged legends: Yar's Revenge, Raiders of the Lost Ark, the first tale of cinema reborn as game. So great were these triumphs that Steven Spielberg himself named Warshaw as the chosen architect. Atari proclaimed the coming marvel loudly, spending fortunes, $25 million, to secure the sacred license. But time, the cruelest enemy, stood watch. The forge burned for only 5 short weeks, for the holiday season loomed like prophecy. Thus, the game emerged unfinished in spirit, rushed into the hands of the faithful. What they found was confusion and frustration. E.T. slipping into pits without warning, trapped in looping descents, lost not in space, but in design. It was a finished game, but it certainly wasn't perfect. There were too many opportunities where you could suddenly wind up in an odd situation that was too much for a lot of people and cause them to put the game down, said Howard Scott Warshaw. At first, hope seemed justified. 1 million copies sold at launch, and by year's end, 2.6 million found homes. Yet hubris had already sealed fate. Atari had summoned 4 million cartridges, far more than the world desired. What remained unsold met a strange burial, laid to rest beneath the deserts of New Mexico, myth turning into matter, the loss cut deep. Gold drained from Atari's coffers, joining a litany of earlier missteps. When the great video game crash of 1983 struck, the company could not endure. Within 2 years, the empire was split and sold, its reign ended by excess and error. Thus, E.T. was crowned in infamy. Named the worst game ever wrought, some claimed it was the spark that ignited the industry's great collapse. The face history chose for a larger fall. It's awesome to be credited with single-handedly bringing down a billion-dollar industry with 8 kilobytes of code. But the truth is a little more complex. Decades later, the Earth itself spoke. In 2014, the buried cartridges were unearthed, and Warshaw was summoned to witness his past rise once more from the sand. When we arrived, there was a long line of fans from all over the country who had traveled to see this, he says. It was an odd thing to sit there and literally watch your past being dug up. Warshaw sought innovation, not ruin. Yet history remembers symbols, not intentions. Perhaps it was not the worst game ever made, but the age of collapse demanded a name, and Atari's ET bore it willingly. I actually prefer it when people do identify it as the worst game of all time, because I also did Yar's Revenge, and that's frequently identified as one of the best of all time. So between the two, I have the greatest range of any designer in history. Thus ends the tale of the cartridge entombed in sand, a reminder that even legends, when forged in haste, may fall back to earth, forever known in history as the game that almost ended the gaming industry.